queen at the edge of time, Cleopatra VII Philippata was not just the last pharaoh of Egypt, she was the last symbol of an independent kingdom standing against Rome's unstoppable power. By the late 1st century BCE, the Roman Republic was tearing itself apart in civil wars, and Cleopatra found herself caught between love, politics, and survival. Her final days, from the Battle of Actium in 31 BCE to her death in 30 BCE, are among the most dramatic episodes in ancient history. They have been retold countless times by Roman propagandists, medieval chroniclers, Shakespearean dramatists, and modern historians. But where does truth end and myth begin? The historical backdrop: Egypt in the Ptolemaic era was already a fading power. The dynasty founded by Ptolemy, one of Alexander the Great's generals, had ruled Egypt for nearly 300 years. Yet by Cleopatra's time, Egypt was deeply entangled in Roman politics. Rome controlled much of the Mediterranean, and Egyptian rulers relied on Roman alliances for survival. Cleopatra had already lived through political upheavals. Her alliance and relationship with Julius Caesar had once secured her throne. His assassination in 44 BCE plunged Rome into chaos, and Cleopatra, ever the strategist, aligned herself with another powerful Roman, Mark Antony. Cleopatra and Mark Antony. Cleopatra and Antony's partnership was both political and personal. She provided him with wealth, ships, and troops for his campaigns. He, in turn, legitimized her rule and strengthened her influence. Together, they had 3 children, 2 Octavian, Caesar's heir and future Augustus. Their union was dangerous. Roman propaganda painted Cleopatra as a foreign seductress who had bewitched Antony, undermining his loyalty to Rome. This betrayal of Antony, enslaved by an Egyptian queen, became central to Octavian's campaign, prelude to the end. The Battle of Actium 31 BCE. The Battle of Actium was the turning point. Antony and Cleopatra gathered a massive fleet in Greece. Octavian's Admiral Agrippa, however, controlled the seas. Ancient sources accuse Cleopatra of fleeing mid-battle, with Antony abandoning his forces to follow her. Whether this was an act of cowardice or a planned retreat is debated, but it sealed their fate. Antony's fleet surrendered. Octavian claimed victory. Flight back to Egypt. Antony and Cleopatra retreated to Alexandria, their capital. Cleopatra began preparing for both survival and death. She hoarded treasures, fortified her palace, and even constructed a grand mausoleum. Some believe she was already preparing for the possibility of ending her life on her own terms. Antony, once one of Rome's greatest generals, saw his reputation crumble. Roman poets mocked him as Cleopatra's puppet. His Roman allies deserted him. Octavian's advance into Egypt 30 BCE. By 30 BCE, Octavian invaded Egypt. Antony tried to resist but was hopelessly outnumbered. Cleopatra attempted negotiations, offering to abdicate in favor of her children, or to surrender treasure in exchange for mercy. Octavian, however, wanted total control. Antony's death in August 30th BCE. Antony received false news that Cleopatra had taken her own life. Distraught, he fell on his sword. Ancient accounts tell us he did not die instantly. Wounded, he was carried to Cleopatra's mausoleum, where he reportedly died in her arms. This tragic end of Antony became one of the most romanticized moments of antiquity. But historians note, was it love, despair, or political theater? Cleopatra's last days. Now alone, Cleopatra faced Octavian. She met him in negotiations, possibly attempting to seduce or charm him as she once had Caesar and Antony. But Octavian was different, cold, calculating, and already envisioning his victory parade in Rome. Plutarch claims Cleopatra begged not to be paraded as a prisoner. Octavian reassured her, but his promises were likely hollow. The myth of the Aspan, August 12, 30 BCE. Cleopatra died. The traditional account, she allowed an asp cobra to bite her, smuggled in a basket of figs. This death was symbolic. The cobra was sacred in Egyptian religion, representing royalty and divine power. But historians question this. An asp is large, dangerous, and unreliable. Could it be controlled so easily? More likely, Cleopatra used poison concealed in a hairpin, ointment, or hollow comb. The asp legend may have been Roman propaganda, a dramatic tale to make her death memorable. Octavian's ruled it. Octavian, allow her to die. Possibly, a live Cleopatra could humiliate him in Rome. But a dead Cleopatra removed the problem, and still gave him a triumphant narrative. He had conquered Egypt, Roman writers emphasized. Her death as an exotic suicide, reinforcing the stereotype of Cleopatra as a dramatic, dangerous woman. The fate of Cleopatra's children. Cleopatra left behind for children. Caesarion, her son, by Julius Caesar, and 3 by Antony. Caesarion was captured and executed by Octavian. Too many Caesars is not good, he reportedly said. Cleopatra, Selene survived, married to King Juba II of Mauritania, ensuring Cleopatra's lineage lived on in North Africa. Alexander Helios and Ptolemy Philadelphus vanish from history, presumed dead young. The fall of a dynasty. With Cleopatra's death, the Ptolemaic dynasty ended. Egypt, once one of the richest kingdoms of the ancient world, became a Roman province. Its grain fed Rome's growing empire, and its wealth filled Octavian's coffers. The Roman narrative. Much of what we know about Cleopatra comes from her enemies. Roman writers, Plutarch, Cassius, Dio, Suetonius, shaped the narrative. To them, Cleopatra was not a clever ruler defending her throne, but a temptress who destroyed Antony. Her image was propaganda. Octavian needed her to embody the foreign threat he had vanquished. Myth versus truth. Separating truth from myth is difficult. Myth, Cleopatra was only a seductress. Truth, she was a polyglot, skilled diplomat, and ruler who kept Egypt independent for 2 decades. Myth, she died by snakebite. Truth, more likely poison. But the story of the asp was too symbolic for Romans to resist. Myth, Antony was helpless. Under her spell. Truth, their alliance was strategic, but Roman politics spun it as romance gone wrong. Page 15, Legacy. The immortal Queen Cleopatra's final days were tragic, but they ensured her immortality. For the Romans, she was the cautionary tale of foreign queens. For Renaissance artists and Shakespeare, she was the tragic heroine of doomed love. For modern historians, she is a symbol of resistance, intelligence, and female power in a world dominated by men.